Hey guys, it's Tom here from Shipper Container Studios. Behind me is the first container studio that I ever encountered. Now before I start my next build, we're going to unbox this one, have a look at some of the design choices that were made in its construction. We're going to take those lessons and apply it to our next one. Let's go. I came across this space after getting kicked off the lease of a shared art studio space for making too much noise, obviously. I needed somewhere to go, somewhere to make music, so I found this online, advertised on Gumtree for 6,000 Australian dollars, which is a total steal. It's got to be at least material cost. Yeah, found it online, picked it up. This one was built by a tradie, very handy man, / DJ named David. He's done an awesome job in building this thing. So today we're going to have a look at some of the design choices that have been made in its construction. We're going to take the bits that we like and then we're going to apply those choices to our next studio build. You want to do it? Let's go. So this one is a 20-foot standard height shipping container. If you watched our other unboxing video, you notice that this one doesn't have the same luxurious ceiling height. I don't feel claustrophobic in here, but it's slightly lower than a standard height ceiling. Let's talk about this door because I love this idea. Here we've got an extra thick door built from just two regular ass off the shelf hollow core doors with a 70 by 35mm timber framed in the middle with some insulation. It's super heavy duty, you got that extra thickness, it kind of feels like you're going into a refrigerator. But then there's a second inner sliding glass door. If you need, you can leave the outer door open, let some of that natural light in. It's super functional. Speaking of refrigerators, this is also a great idea. These are actually refrigerator door seals from some kind of commercial application, some kind of glass door on bar fridges or something like that. Now I'm going to try and steal this idea for my build because I suspect it's going to be a Brazilian times cheaper than any specialty soundproofing seals. It's very likely going to do the same thing. It's all framed up with this 70 by 35mm timber, which has been isolated from the floor and from the walls with these strips of rubber. Here we can see that the plasterboard's sandwiched in between the two sheets of yellow tongue, which I guess is adding extra density as well as differing density. I guess it's helping with the soundproofing. The exterior walls look like they've been made up from leftover yellow tongue flooring. Pulling away one of these panels, we can see it's wrapped with waterproof sarking, which I think is really important, to stop any condensation as well as other risk just in case you get any small leaks. Now we've jacked it up onto these blocks because once, maybe every summer, this whole area floods. It's really hard to believe, but we're actually right in the middle of the central city area, tucked away in this little pocket with this whole Australian Bayou situation going on. It's all industrially zoned, which means there's no noise restrictions, but it's still super tranquil. You notice also it's under a roof, and that is really incredibly helpful for the longevity of everything, of the aircon of the container. If you want to go a little bit deeper into Shipper Container Studios, check out the link in the description below. We've put together a bunch of resources, some drawings, designs and stuff like that. You might find that really handy. Also, if you're thinking about building one of these things, don't hesitate to send me an email, ask me any questions. You can get me at slumlord@shippercontainerstudios.com. Yeah man, any questions, I'm always happy to talk shop. So what elements of this one do we love? Like what are we going to borrow for this next design? Firstly, the 70 by 35mm timber, love it. Most houses are framed with 90 by 45 timber. The container itself is providing all the structural integrity, so from what I can see, there's no real reason why we can't save a bit of money, save a bit of space, and use these slightly thinner timbers. I love the carpet with what feels like a really super thick underlay. That's adding heaps to the sound treatment of the room. It actually sounds pretty good in here for a perpendicular box. Also, the layer of plasterboard on either side of the stud is a really good idea. It adds density, more mass for the sound to travel through. As I said, I love the door seals and the door. Maybe it's only a minor element, but I might prefer to have the glass door on the outside. It kind of makes sense to always have the outer door closed, and then you open and shut the inner one, you know, as you need. These fluorescent lights, I'm sure they're cost effective to install and maybe run, but no, it's not a vibe in here. We're not making music in a 7-Eleven, so this is a great example of something we're not going to carry over to the next build. I mean, it's great that they're not recessed into the wall, so we don't have any sound leaks or perforations where the sound can escape, but yeah, the vibe of what we're doing is really, really important. So that's a brief overview of the first shipping container studio that I ever came across. And man, this thing is very dear to my heart. I've spent many days and nights locked inside there, making weird sounds. So yeah, and big props to David, the guy who built this thing. He's done a great job in a very, very cost-effective way. I even think that this one is more sound isolated than my other tank, but might be something we have to test in a future video. So yeah, tell me you guys what you think. Please write any comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you are thinking about building one of these things, don't hesitate to ask me any questions. I'll put my email address in the description below, and as well as any links to some resources as well. Check them out. All right, have a good one, man.
Almost everyone, West Jamaica, to each mountain, shining down the river. Oh, all my friends, they older than the tree, longer than the mountain.